Hello, I'm Ivana Studena from the Center of Social and Psychological Sciences of the Slovak Academy of Sciences. I'm a researcher and I was leading this research project in our institution. In Slovakia, the Slovak labor market feels the impact of digital transformations and green transition, and encounters various challenges because of it in terms of labor shortages and shortages of professional skills, which put adult learning as a top policy priority. And also, the dual transition affects the leading industrial sector, which is the automotive industry. And the processes of automation and digitization are reflected also in the highest risks of automation, skill obsolescence and job destruction facing Slovakia. However, in terms of the participation of adults in learning, for many years Slovakia has been positioned among the weak performing countries in terms of participation rate, around 3%. Now, in past 2 years this rate has increased, and in 2022 it was to as much as more than 12%, but we believe this is more of a measurement change rather than a real change in the culture or policy support or funding of adult learning. And another contributing effect to this jump in the participation rate could have been also job turnover, which is actually really high for the key professions in automotive production. But we really need to research that further. The really important problem in adult learning system in Slovakia is inequality and very low on almost zero participation of low-skilled or unemployed adults. In terms of actions that Slovakia takes to address the challenges and to support adult learning, Slovakia is actually quite a young state in terms of its history after the 90s, and it was during the accession process to become a member of the European Union that Slovakia joined all the initiatives that led to the European Union Memorandum of Lifelong Learning. So this has been a strong impulse for actors at the policy level and in the practice for developing the vision of lifelong learning and adult learning as part of this. Now, currently, the strategy for lifelong learning and career guidance was approved in 2022. However, strategic materials in Slovakia very often risk to fall short of implementation frameworks. So we have strategic frameworks, but not really that many implemented plans or projects. So most programs for adult learning, which are funded from the public funding, are provided within the framework of active labor market policies. We actually have quite a history of several years of training courses which were paid by the labor offices for job seekers. And very recently this has been also provided to employees, I believe as of 2021. So the rationale behind providing these funded courses also to employed was actually the challenges in terms of reskilling of employed for future labor market needs, especially those in jobs which are likely to be destroyed as a result of automation. But these learning programs not always specifically address the needs of the low-skilled workers, and especially early school leavers and low-skilled people who have multiple disadvantages. And we observe that these either job seekers or employed do not have sufficiently varied offer in training programs. The trade unions and the role of social dialogue so far is not strong. Trade unions did not yet have the opportunity to integrate the adult learning as one of its key priorities, but they do understand the importance of adult learning for its members. In terms of the policy framework for adult learning in Slovakia, It's several national players, but 3 national ministries have key roles. It's Ministry of Education, and one of its directly governed organizations, which is State Institute of Vocational Education, and these are formally responsible for adult learning at the national level. They set out the main legal and policy framework. This ministry is also responsible for the accreditation of adult learning programs, especially non-formal programs. Then another key player is the Ministry of Labour, which is providing and developing the framework of active labour market policies, which I mentioned a while ago, where the training courses have been offered to job seekers and now are being offered also for employees who are interested in participating in the scheme, and who can now apply also at the labour offices and undertake a training of their choice. This training, however, has to be taken in the free time of the employed, so we will see how this goes. So this program is really intended in addressing the financial barrier of participants, but again might fail to address the inequality in participation. The programs which would support low-skilled probably might not fit well into the framework of the funding schemes of active labour market policies, and we would need some programs to support basic skills and maybe also then to bridge the basic skills programs to second chance education programs. The social partners emphasize the need to foster cooperation between the education system and the business sector, and they see this as a way to foster adult learning, but at the same time employer associations expect a more proactive role of the state in supporting continuous education. Trade union organizations perceive the skill development and increasing the resilience of employees at the workplace should go hand in hand with the work-life balance policies, because changing skills really put further pressure on workers' well-being. The trade unions remain still involved in a limited extent, but they realize that this is a key topic that they should integrate in their priorities. The companies perceive adult learning as a necessity, and due to dynamically changing labour market skills needs, they understand the increasing role of reskilling and upskilling. And what we found is that they rely on their own solutions, develop non-formal in-house training courses with individualized approaches and open career paths to any motivated employee. And the companies shared that it is the motivation of workers which to continuously learn, which is generally weak as a key barrier for them. The companies also shared their experience that not only hard skills should be fostered, but it's increasingly important to support soft skills such as teamwork, communication skills, problem-solving skills, but also abilities to adapt to new situations, to engage in complex work projects. The company management is also aware of increasing pressure on the resilience and mental well-being of their employees, because the strong competitive pressures limit the extent of support to all workers in the area of soft skills or well-being that the company can offer. The company representatives also see space for improvement in the implementation of adult learning programs and in better cooperation between the formal education institutions and the business sector. In terms of the policy recommendations, the adult learning system needs to integrate the development of soft skills, including social skills and critical thinking in Slovakia, and this goes both for formal and non-formal education and training programs. The role of social dialogue in supporting equity is very limited, and social partners would welcome support to foster their expert and personal capacities so that they could really be engaged in shaping adult learning programs. Employers can be very innovative and efficient in solving their upskilling and reskilling needs in connection with the digital and green transitions, and it is not really clear if public funding schemes for adult learning can be flexible enough to support companies in the nowadays dynamically changing business environment in Slovakia. So There is a risk that some public schemes supporting training could introduce distortions because companies share their concerns that large public schemes are really administratively very demanding, and this of course imposes much higher or much more important barrier for smaller companies. To deal with skills gaps and big divide in the upskilling pathways in favor of the high skilled, it could be more effective to invest in programs which are unlikely to be supported by employers, and these include non-formal basic skills programs and then a connection to second chance education programs also for older adults. And for all adults, the learning opportunities need to be individualized, accessible and flexible. Outreach to low-skilled adults is best achieved when it is linked with a delivery of support services such as social work and employment services. And to conclude, from the economic perspective, adult learning is perceived as a key driver for boosting adult skills in Slovakia. And this is really important. And generally, actors understand that adult learning can generate a range of personal, economic and social benefits, but the adult learning system in Slovakia really has a long way to go. It needs to be more effectively targeting the more vulnerable learners, especially the low-skilled adults and unemployed. And in this respect, the programs for adult learning should be accessible and inclusive and accompanied by welfare and other supportive measures. And this might be also effective support for addressing current labor shortages in the automotive sector in Slovakia.